Welcome back, everybody. This is session 14 of the Reaper King. Few moments after our company had entered the Unseelie Sanctuary, they were met with an eeriness, a calmness, almost a... It's not a feeling of that you're not welcome. It is a feeling that's leery of you, very suspicious of your presence. Blogvir, would you describe your character and take us away?
Well, Blogvir, a slate gray skinned ogre who stands 10.5 feet, weighs 1 ton in his bronze armor, missing a pauldron as it was crushed, sits at the table eating all this magnificent food, stuffing his face, caution and abandon to the wind as he gorges himself on this most delicious food. His magnificent beard is now covered in blood, gravy, wine, meat, every assortment of things. His long matted dreadlocks are drooped over his face as he leans over the table. The only sounds echoing through this eerily quiet place are the smacking and breaking of bones as he crunches through the various food set before him, oblivious to everything else as he quaffs down tankards of mead and wine, just being a glutton.
As well he should, sir, in this Fey sanctuary. This table is, you'd probably say about 20, 25 feet long, a big full banquet table, and you're only sitting at the end, and this thing is lined with any bounty that you could possibly imagine in your wildest of dreams. And there's the accommodations of any pleasure, I suppose, that you could think of, but you are both indeed alone in this great hall. Kind of a little bit of a chilling wind kind of blows crossways into this room. Shihan, would you describe your character, please?
Shihan is a Dawn Fairfolk, has fair skin, dark hair, protruding from his forehead just below his hairline are 2 small horns that are black, which almost blends in with his hair, actually. His eyes are bright and intelligent, looking around, darting about as if looking for anything. His clothing, though a bit travel stained, is actually well made, in colors of greens, grays, and his boots look, even though once again travel worn, as if maybe they are not very old, as he was outfitted by some Arborians not too often long ago. At his hip is a sheathed sword that glitters with a pale light in the metal. The grip wrapped in stained and old leather, definitely well used. Next to a bed is a hunting bow and a very full quiver of arrows. He's thin, almost painfully so, by the especially in comparison to large Blogvir, and he does in his hand have a chicken wing that he's nibbling on, and in his other hand he has a cup of some kind of drink, most likely wine, since that's favored by the courts and such. But his eyes are constantly in motion, looking for something, and that wind causes him to look in the direction it comes from. And his hair is very, very light and fine. It blows briefly in that wind. Blogvir, did you feel that?
What? Feel what? What's going on?
It's probably nothing, just a breeze, but I don't know. He takes a drink of his drink and a bite of his food. He is as famished as Blogvir, but he can't bring himself to dig in quite the way his large friend is. He says, I don't know, this place gives me I don't know, it's an odd feeling. It's almost like home, but at the same time, like it's, I don't know, a reflection of home. I'm doing an awareness test if that's possible. That's okay.
Do it. Go for it.
Let's see. That is going to be a 29.
You are familiar with these surroundings. It's similar architecture from possibly an older, more distant culture, similar to the fair folk, but there is an otherworldly ancientness to it. It's more coated in dust than what you'd be most comfortable with. It's just slightly off, however. There's a feeling of the uncanny that haunts you, that brings that creepy undertone forward.
So it's almost as if he looks around, as if we're being watched from somewhere. Like it, not as in like someone is watching us to, I don't know, see what we're doing, but more of, I don't know. It's an odd feeling. I don't think we should stay here very long, Blogvir. Just to recover our wits and our health. Then we should definitely at the next sunrise. We should definitely look elsewhere.
You're just being paranoid, Gian.
It's not paranoid if someone not thinks to beat you.
True.
He finishes off his chicken wing and tosses it on an empty plate. Reaches out, grabs a handful of some fruit, grapes probably, and starts popping in his mouth as he's walking around. He never quite can bring himself to just sit and relax. He just paces around the table while Blogvir fills himself.
And Blogvir will find himself hard-pressed to fill himself. There is something about this food and this place where he's gone to feasts before in the mortal realm, and he knows himself, he knows his stomach, and ogres, obviously being large people, can put away vast quantities of food and vast quantities of drink. But you find yourself maybe after the first hour and a half of, I probably should have been done eating a while ago now, but no, you can still keep shoveling it in.
After about the first hour, and Blogvir starts realizing this, he'll just start slowing down and kind of looking very puzzled. Like, okay, I know I've been eating for an hour. It's going inside me, right? It's not falling on the floor or nothing. So
no, it's in your face.
He slowly becomes aware of this and just kind of slows down. Maybe just push the plate away. Maybe drink some more wine or something, and just be like, okay, I'm just gonna stop now. I'm done. I've been eating for an hour straight. I think I should be good.
I would like for you both to make a sight-based test. I want you to add 4 to it, and tell me what you get.
I have an 11.
I got a 14.
Oh, for God's sake, an 11, Keith? Okay.
Remember, Shihan has a very low sight.
Very superstitious. Okay. Now, this won't be as palpable for Shihan, as he's obviously paranoid of the situation as is, but Blogvir, you become acutely aware that something very, very wrong is with this entire situation.
We should probably just leave now, Red Blade. I had Blogvir just get up from the table, and I don't like this place either. Something's wrong here. I've been eating for an hour, and I'm not even full, and this place just feels weird. Why'd you have to get us lost? Oh,
Well,
Mother Goddess, we're gonna die in here, aren't we?
no, I don't think we'll die. This is just the way of the courts. Their food is not quite as filling to mortals as it is to the fairies, and it's not. I can understand the disquiet. I don't feel threatened here, only disquiet. I don't think we necessarily have to leave immediately. In fact, it might be seen as a breach of protocol if we do. I don't know exactly, but rejecting hospitality may be seen as a insult.
It feels like an itch you can't scratch, and then a disembodied hand scratches it for you. You don't know where it came from.
Yes, that is true.
There's a sense of what nature this Faustian deal had been made, what form it'll take, and then there's for both of you that uneasiness sets in here again.
Yes, this
almost unnecessarily reminding you of such a thing.
Yes. Shihan looks over at Blogvir and says, "We've made the deal."
You made the deal, Shihan. You made the deal.
Yeah. No,
I don't want to do with this.
Deal. And as you know, when a deal is struck, a deal must be honored. So I don't believe we will be harmed here. Maybe there are things just beyond our sight that wished us harm, but they will honor the deal. We are safe. Of course,
you made the deal.
Yeah.
What if they come for me? What if I'm not immune to such things? What if they come for me in my sleep?
No. You have to understand the rules of hospitality. Once you've eaten their food and drank their wine, unless you offer insults, you should be fine.
Oh gods, what are they considered insult? Have I already insulted? I'm sorry, spirits. I did not mean to insult you. Your food is very filling. I'm quite full.
Just don't break any of their things, and watch where you relieve yourself.
Blogvir will push the chair back up to the table, nice, and kind of clean up put everything on a plate. He's done, and clean everything up. There you go, spirits. Everything's nice and neat.
That brings said no ogre ever.
That brings a bit of a smile to Shihan's face as he sees Blogvir tidying up after himself with his large hands, doing his best to bring the statues together into a pile. And of course, his fingers are too big in some cases, I think, to actually get some of the worst of it, or at least the smaller pieces. And Shihan goes over and takes a cloth off the table and shakes it out and begins helping him wipe up a bit. He says, "Here," he hands him a cloth and says, "Here, wipe your face. You have a bit of something in your beard there."
Oh, thank you. Gotta look nice. Can't let them be offended.
So Shihan takes a seat and decides, let's try it. He says out.
Sorry, go for it, Keith.
He says out to the room in general, looking away from Blogvir specifically, so it's obvious he's not speaking directly to him. He says, "Thank you for your hospitality. Would the host deign to show himself?"
There is no reply.
Okay. After a moment, he'll wait to see if there's a reply, and he says, "Then, as you wish. It is your home. Thank you very much for your hospitality. We of course were sent here by the king of the Pikes, and what he is paying you, we are paying to him in his own way. We offer you no harm." I look at Blogvir and sort of rub my shoulders and says, sort of quietly, "I think that's what you're supposed to say."
Yes, thank you, great spirits, for your hospitality. 1,000 blessings upon you and your loved ones and whatnot. Don't kill us, please.
There is a kind of a lounge area just beyond the table. What looks to be like a wellspring kind of fountain there. There's a bit of a water fountain, actually waterfall. Excuse me, I can't talk tonight. That trickles down a slope into this pool. And it's kind of got like a chaise style lounge chair kind of set up. Around this reflecting pool, if you will. It possibly kind of serves as a lounge slash bathtub if you wish to use it. There are chairs large enough for both of you, and the pool itself is large enough for someone as opulent as Blogvir to submerge himself in if he so chose. Across the area from that is kind of a shaded, what looks to be like kind of like a sleeping area. There's a couple soft patches of grass that you can kind of nestle yourself in, and just above that and to the right there seems to be this like a stone path, kind of well worn, and you can see the erosion of boots and sandals, possibly even bare feet, actually go up in this step-like fashion, as if thousands of individuals over countless cycles have used this pathway. And this goes up. It ends in fog. Something somewhere beyond that veil of fog is the destination. So this is kind of like your immediate area I'm describing. Again, that dead calm, and there's a bit of a soft, a few shafts of dawn light come through like the canopy here.
Do we at this point feel sort of rested, or
you are still quite restless from the road.
okay, so still a bit road.
Eeriness aside, you are not rested. You've only been here for maybe 10 minutes tops.
Okay. In that case, I look over at Blogvir and say, well, if they offer us a bath, maybe I should clean myself. So I'm going to do that. He goes over and starts shedding his clothing before walking down into the pool.
Don't worry, I'll make sure no one attacks you. I'll watch your back.
Okay. Thank you. He smudges his head, and Bob is up out of the water shortly after that. Oh, I forgot. And he takes he starts to take the bracelet off. Then he thinks better of it. I can live with this. And he begins running water over his hair, washing out the worst of it, and worrying at some of the tangles and such of it.
All right, fair enough there. Do you guys mean to spend the evening here?
That was part of the deal, a safe place to rest.
Okay, all right.
That's my thought.
I wanted to make sure what your move was.
Yeah, that's my thought. Blogvir, what do you think about that? About staying the night here?
We are exhausted, but we do need rest. I just don't know if I will be able to fall asleep in such a unsettling place. But
we should at least make the attempt, I think.
Very well.
If need be, we can alternate. I can, if you wish to get some rest while I'm in the pool, you can do that now, and after I'm washed and giving you some time to rest, I'll awaken you and you can watch over me.
Oh, okay. Blogvir will go down to that nice patchy grassy area and just lay down and try to fall asleep.
Your head finds something that would possibly be akin to a pillow in the form of a rock. and not 10 minutes later, you are deep, deep asleep. Oh, yeah, of course. Sleep apnea and all. So Shihan is staying up, and he's still in the pool, is he?
Yeah, he's gonna take a bit of time in the pool to get himself fully clean and wash as much of the road away from as he possibly can, and try to get his hair in somewhat order. I'm sure it's probably in some of the braids and such have probably metastasized themselves now. He's going to try to work it out to where it's actually just all down, and then get a bit clean.
Well, to your unsurprisedness, we'll say that there is a kit for hair cleanliness on the rim of the pool there.
I'll look up and say thank you and begin using it. So at the end, he'll probably wind up having to cut some of it off, so he'll wind up having hair just about to his shoulders when he's done.
Okay.
So, and I'm sure it's probably
a Fey hunter has cut his hair. Oh, shame. No, I'm kidding. All right.
Fey hunter lost his horns. So.
Well, that's your own damn fault.
Right. That hair, though, of course, he is going to very meticulously make sure it goes into a pouch. He's not going to leave it here.
Yeah, good idea. That.
I mean, he doesn't know anything about the arts of sorcery or anything like that, but he's always been told it's a good idea not to leave your hairling about. So, superstition and whatnot.
Oh, of course.
And then once he's done, he's going to also take the time to actually wash his clothes out a bit and hang them up to dry. So, though he is, just to be on the safe side, keeping his sheath sword fairly close, and he's going to sit down and just start. Actually, he's going to pull his old pipe out, and start playing a bit. So his old flute, just very quietly, trying to go counterpoint to Blogvir snoring.
It's like the first. Oh my. Okay. So the first 3 hours into the evening, the first quarter, Blogvir is quite literally a corpse to this world. He's a mountain of himself, and he's not moved. He's gonna wake up with cloth marks in his skin, like, oh wow, he was sleeping well. Damn. Anyway. 3 hours into the evening, there's another presence that actually enters this chamber. Shihan, just above, ever so slightly above the sound of your silent playing, you hear the sounds of soft boots come through the passageway that you had used earlier that day.
He stops playing. He stops playing and looks that way. He doesn't get up or anything or act threatening, but he does look that way.
You're gonna have to sit partially up to look over a boulder there.
It's fine.
Kind of a low privacy wall there.
Yeah, he'll sit up and lean forward and look over this boulder.
Okay. As you peer around this stone, you see another fair folk, another male, who is surprisingly, he's about 1.5 feet taller than you.
Oh.
His horns are fully grown and majestic like a tree's. However, his horns they're not like yours and other possible mortal kind. The horns of the fair folk, the crest is essentially 2 shafts with barbs coming out of them, kind of like a thorn bush sitting on your head. This individual has those 2 shafts that grow in a sweeping fashion, and then from there is a row of kind of like tines, kind of like a deer, but he's got like 6 tines that actually point straight up. His hair, like I said, is jet black. He has a broadsword on his hip, and he ducks under a vine. You don't think he's noticed you, but he stops at the table for a moment and hangs his quiver down on like the back of a chair. He takes up an apple and he bites into it.
I'll wait until he eats a bit. I don't want to cause the poor fellow to choke. I do have my sword next to me. It is still sheathed, but of course I'm quite naked. And I just call out, "Hell visitor," in Fairfolk, of course, or Faywise.
Without looking up, he barely acknowledges your greeting. He seems to he's not undistracted, but also paying you no heed.
As he wishes, I'll busy myself putting my clothes and such back on. Shady, of course, obviously shielding myself from, I don't want to possibly offend him with my nakedness. Then I'll walk over and give Blogvir a couple of soft sort of jabs with my foot. Blogvir, time to wake, my friend.
Do I wake up? Do I feel this, or am I deep in Morpheus's bosom?
You wish you were in Morpheus's bosom, but no. You are in, like I said, your deepest sleep, the deepest sleep of your life, and as Shihan is trying to rouse you, you barely feel that hand on your arm, on your shoulder, and it's you're being drugged slowly out of a lucid dream. And you may describe for us how real and lifelike and beautiful this dream that you were having was.
Blogvir was he was back in his home village, and it was harvest time. People were out in the streets and peddling their wares, having festivals. Everybody was happy and merry, and Blogvir was dressed in a traditional festival garb. He wasn't wearing armor, didn't have his weapon on, and he was carrying a basket full of flowers and assorted vegetables and fruits and whatnot, and he was carrying them up to Kaya's house where she waited. She was waiting for him, and as he approached, he gave her this offering, and they embraced each other, and you would look, and they are married. This is their house. This is their homestead, and he smiles from ear to ear as he goes into the house and calls out, and two ogre children come running out and embrace him in a hug. He would lift them, one on each shoulder, and they would all begin walking to the village proper to partake in the festivities. And as Blogvir just revels in this dream, this fantasy, he looks up, and there's a dark storm cloud brewing, and he sees and he stares in horror as this giant Fairfolk hand reaches out from the sky and grabs him and starts taking him away. His children fall off his shoulders. Kaya calls out to him, and he reaches for them. And then Shihan's face pokes through the clouds with an evil grimace as he plucks him away from this fantasy, this perfect fantasy he had. As he is jolted, he's jolted out of the realm of Morpheus, and he stares up groggily through sleepy eyes at his friend, or he thought was his friend. this evil visage leans over him, and it takes him a minute to realize that he is actually awake, and that was actually a dream. He his heart is racing. He thought for sure that he had been taken by this demon in his friend's flesh, and he may just mumble like incoherent gibberish like through his half slumbered stupor state, like ogrish, tell him to get away, demon. And Drool, he would get up and look around groggily. Drool just caked his beard and what Shihan, what? He stares and looked at. Oh, I must have been dreaming. What is wrong? As he begins to shakily get up and kind of stumble a little bit and wiping the sleep from his eyes.
Possibly nothing wrong, but we have a guest. He turns and looks back toward the fellow by the table.
I thought, anybody can come in here?
Those who are allowed to be here, I'm sure.
Oh, well, I'm glad I tidied up a bit.
Yes, I am. I'm glad you did too. You were. I'm not sure if you're aware of the smell that your kind can exude when they've been on the road for quite some time, bathing only when it rains.
You just sniff and kind of grimace. That is battle musk. It drives fear into your enemies. But I am a bit ripe. Maybe I should bathe.
Well, before that though, let's ascertain our guests. I guess
he hasn't tried to kill us yet, so that's something.
And he's obviously an archer of some type, and he is of at least I think he's of my people, though he's much taller than any that I know.
Well, he's a fair folk archer. You two have so much in common. I'll let you take the lead on this.
As you wish. He'll turn and with that, and now that he knows that Blogvir is awake and aware, he'll walk over toward the entrance between the two areas, and without approaching fully, he stops and
the stranger
traveler
is still there. He's very much enjoying this fruit that he's having. He's kind of having a not a moment to himself, but it's he's being quiet about it.
Okay. So once I make my pronouncement of welcome traveler, I'll wait for a moment, then I'll slowly walk over to the other end of the table and pick up a piece of the same fruit that's available on that end and try it.
What you're eating is actually called perp. It's about the size of a pear. You have a pear, but it has the texture of a strawberry. And they're kind of like this deep wine red color. Can't remember exactly the word for what strawberries actually are, where they have the seeds on the outside. I think it's called a palm.
Yes.
Something like that. So yeah, that's what a perp is. It's short for the perpetrator's fruit.
Okay.
Allegedly, some babushka craft old wives' tale nonsense is if you're super drunk, have yourself a perp and wait 10 minutes and you'll be fine.
Huh.
Yeah, apparently it works like a sponge. Apparently, that's babushka craft. So,
of course, he'll bite into it and savor the flavor and sort of wait to see if the other person responds at all.
He doesn't turn to look at you, but you can see that he kind of glances at you, like out of like the rim of his eyes, his peripheral. And he brings the perp away from his mouth just a bit, and you see his lips part. And there is an image in your mind that explodes, and you have this sudden flash of searing white light pain, and The sound is similar to like an F-35 buzzing the tower, if you will. And you are knocked to the floor as the image in your mind is of that stag that you saw in the woods.
Okay.
So Blogvir will actually hear a body drop if Shihan actually yells out or anything like that.
Well, he'll probably gasp at that image instead of actually yelling out, I think. Yeah, he'd hear a definite audible gasp.
Blogger will run over there, Shion, and run over to him and try to help him up.
I'm okay, Blogvir. So I get up and I do a deep bow to this fellow, and I say, your presence honors us." I look over at Blogvir and just say out of my mouth, "The stag."
Blogger looks confused, and then his eyes widen. He's like, you honor us with your presence.
If you wish us to leave you be, we shall. And
the stranger there, his gaze falls upon both of you, and I need a magic defense test from both of you. This is going to be awesome.
okay. Oh, okay.
Oh, that might be good. Ooh,
16.
Okay.
17 for me.
Ooh, okay, awesome. The stranger just smirks, and he kind of gives you this curt, acknowledging you now, nod, where it's the whole motion of the nod is accentuated by this rack, this crest on his head. He at that point he unbelts the broadsword from his hip and again hangs it next to the quiver.
With that, then Shihan will, of course, he'll unbelt his sword belt and take it over next to his own quiver and bow, and very pointedly put it next to it. So,
the bow that this stranger is carrying, clearly it is an opulent piece of craftsmanship. It for a long bow, it is on his frame about 1.5 feet longer than what would be for Shihan's frame.
so the bow itself is probably taller than I am.
Oh, of course, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I said Shihan's is just a simple hunting bow with bone and wood and sinew, so it seems almost almost crude next to this beautiful thing I'm thinking.
Oh, very much so. You don't know what bone or horn his is made out of, but images of your wildest imagination just flood through your head. That could be a dragon bone. You've no idea. Just sinew made of sunlight. Well, it could be anything.
It could be made from the tail bones of the great beasts that live in the swamps that devour fair folk.
Exactly. Well,
So,
maybe. But this stranger actually, he looks more pointedly at Shihan, and you could find yourself lost in his eyes, who are actually the most brilliant gold that you've ever seen.
okay.
And in the low, kind of like moonlight, kind of like shimmer there, that it almost has an eye shine that's kind of, it is both creepy, unsettling, and beautiful at the same time.
Wow.
And you find yourself, you could not lie to those eyes.
I look at him and I say, I am Shihan, known as the Red Blade, bound to the court of the Pike King.
Finally, the stranger speaks and says, I know.
Still, it was the rules of hospitality demanded that I tell you who I am. Though, saying that as you are the guest here, your identity is your own. So
He cocks a very beautiful fey eyebrow at you and says, guest.
no, I may be in the wrong here. Are you the Lord of the, I guess what you would call this, Lord of the Demons?
I am lord of all places that are woodland and wild.
Then Shihan bows very deeply to him again and says, I do apologize for my presumption. So myself and my companion Blogvir here were led here by my patron. We had become lost. And this was the closest shelter that he knew of. I hope we have not offended. I look pointedly at Blogvir as I say that. Just
You have not offended me.
then, if it is your wish, we shall take our leave.
If it is your wish to leave, you may go.
I do. Well, my friend Blogvir has had the chance to rest, but I have not. I would beg that you allow us at least a few short hours of rest, and at that time, we shall be away from you. We do not wish to meddle in your affairs.
You may stay here as long as you wish.
You're very kind. So,
Though I believe that you are needed elsewhere.
yes, we are pursuing those who are defiling the proper way of things. The cult. They call themselves the cult of the Darkened Face, and they seek something called the Black Halo.
I am aware of these miscreants. Unfortunately, myself and my kind are unable to meddle in the affairs of mortals and this realm, at least directly.
I understand. If you were to walk boldly upon the face of Arklanar, I'm sure that the heavens themselves will be split asunder, and all form of horrors will be unleashed upon those who live there. Not through any intention of yours, of course. Shihan, sort of, since he's been offered to stay, looks over at Blogvir and he sits down in one of the chairs. He says, though you cannot interfere directly, would it be against the rules, or would it be against your bindings, I would say, to speak with us about this? What you may know, what you may impart any of your wisdom to us that you may?
I could. As you sit down, he kind of passes you, walking behind your chair, and then takes a seat at the end of the table in one of the more opulent chairs.
Mm-hmm.
Ask, and I shall answer.
Do you know what this black halo is they seek?
is a ritual of the true magic that does not belong in the hands of mortals.
We truly hope to keep it from getting into their hands. These mortals they've shown disdain for those that they've encountered so far, meddling with the rituals for the harvest and such. Do you by chance know how that profits them? How the disrupting the rituals in some way would give them aid in their quest? It makes no sense to me. But I'm no thinker of deep thought, keeper of great lore.
By stealing the magics and the rituals possessed by the shamans and priests and medicine women of the mortals, they wish to increase their power. And by disrupting the harvest rituals, they mean to anger the Reaper King. And with use of the ritual, the Black Halo, they mean to render the gods mortal and sacrifice the gods to the Reaper King.
Shihan gets a look of absolute horror on his face at hearing that, and thinking to himself, what would that do to the Reaper King? And knowing what he's seen so far with him dealing with the Pike King and giving him the sacrifice of the soldiers and such that he has in his name, and seeing him increase in power, he thinks to himself, an enraged Reaper King, given the power of sacrifice of gods to him, what would this being be like? And he just can only think of abject horror. He looks over at
the stranger is all saying this very matter-of-factly.
Yes, so that's that's also feeding into this look of horror. Shihan looks over at Blogvir with his eyes just big as saucers at that, and he takes a moment to gather his thoughts and to calm his emotions so he doesn't make an outburst. And he looks and says, thank you for imparting the information to us. I have one last question to ask. Do you know the fastest way to the crossing or to the joining of the Grey Flood and the river that flows through the land of the Arborians?
The river forks a few days' march north of here, actually.
Then we have traveled further than I thought. My patron has.
You are on the very northeastern point of the western lands across the Great Grey River.
Thank you. I do not wish to disturb you further, but would you allow me to play for you? I wish to give you homage in the form of song.
He nods.
Okay. Shihan will.
Well.
Shihan will go and retrieve his flute and look at Blogvir and sort of, he has this bit of a nervous look in his face and thinks to himself, this is the most important performance ever.
Blogvir just whispers, he's just like, don't fuck it up.
Don't fuck it up.
That is going to be a 19 for my song.
Ooh. Wow. The stranger leans back in his chair ever so slightly, and with his eyes closed, he smirks as those notes wash over him.
while he's playing, this isn't actually a song that he had composed prior to this. He just sort of plays from his heart. And the song, as he's playing it, he's thinking in his mind, he sees a field of wheat with a small, well, not what you would call a small cottage, but a small house perched upon a little hill in the middle with low stone walls around it. In the yard, there is a beautiful lady tending a small garden of herbs, and she hears as he's playing the sound of the wind blowing through the wheat and across that hill. She hears off in the distance the sound of of her love, who is coming back from a day of tending his fields, and the song sort of goes up in pitch and almost takes on a slight martial feel to it as she sees him not by himself but at the head of a long chain of mostly Atlanteans that he is leading from this field, and he marches them up this hill and around to what maybe like a barracks behind, and sends them in, comes back and embraces the woman in a great hug, lifts her off the ground and whirls her around as Lee just crosses his face, and he motions to all the wheat that has been harvested, and how his sense of accomplishment. And as he looks up and looks towards the viewer, it's his old friend Gilfrick had fallen, and of course those Atlanteans were all those that Blogvir and Shihan had sent to him to help him work his fields, and the joy that he feels that his friend's still thinking of him. And the song itself begins to fade away as the image does as well, and a single tear runs down Shihan's face from one of his eyes as he remembers his friend.
Well done, Keith. You can take a bonus narrator die for that. Well done. Yeah, that was beautiful. Now, the stranger does nothing to this. It is impossible to tell whether or not he is pleased or offended, but he approves. At the very least, you can tell that he approves.
I take a moment after I finish the song to catch my breath, and I say, thank you for letting me play that for you. And
the stag, the stranger, stands, pushes the chair in behind him. He goes to retrieve his rig, and to both of you, he says, rest well. He turns and then actually goes up that path that I described before and disappears beyond the fog.
Shihan lets out a great breath of, and he sort of slumps down. He's like, that. He sort of looks at toward the path and up, says,
Yeah, you didn't fuck it up. You did a good job.
I have a feeling if I had, as you say, fucked it up, we would be trophies upon his wall by now.
Well, I'm glad you didn't. I'd rather not be a trophy.
Maybe I saw by there, but Blogvir, I am exhausted. He gets up and he's probably at this point shaking just because of the adrenaline finally calming down in his body, and just leaving him weak as a child. He walks over to the area for the sleeping, and without even thinking back, just sets his flute down on a stone nearby and
Then
sits down on his
out.
bed. And yeah, he's probably at that point just out.
Oh,
Blogvir,
you were in the land of Morpheus before you laid down, sir. You
Yes.
you hit the ground hard.
Blogvir is going to take a bath too while he's sleeping, and wash his clothes and everything, and make way for a new battle musk that will soon take place of the old one.
Essence of Carnage, found at all Sephora stores in the mall everywhere in the world. You gotta
In
have
stores this October.
that. This October comes out on Halloween. Hell yeah!
Yep.
So the night passes without event and much less oppressively calm here. Now that great presence has kind of passed through your midst. As you guys wake up that next morning, Shihan was in the midst of the bosom of Morpheus. What did said bosom bring to him in this night?
As he closed his eyes, he found himself in a idyllic woodland. Tall, ancient trees, oak, fir, ash, elm, with a broad, almost cathedral-like undergrowth. Not to, occasionally having like some little bushes here and there, a bit of a bit of ferns and things like that. But for the most part, the ground itself is covered in a carpet of old dead leaves, allowing one to sort of walk among the trees. He walks among these trees, his hand trailing through the ferns and the flowers and such that dot this idyllic woodland. And he hears song. Song that he hasn't heard in at least a good cycle, if not a little more. It's the sound of merrymaking of his own kind. As he walks towards it, he sees that there is it's a celebration of some type, possibly a significant date of birth of someone, or some event that everyone is happy has occurred. There are tables laid out with big carafes of wine, of course, feasts and food and such, and maidens dancing in the filmiest of gowns, just enough to maintain their modesty while giving hints at their beauty underneath. There are young men of his kind around the edges of this dance, looking on appreciatively, their own clothing cut in such a way as to enhance their own physical beauty. The maidens glance out as they dance at individual young men that they maybe have an attraction to, and the young men do the same. Young men are actually singing the song that the ladies are dancing to. It's actually a sort of a common thing for young fair folk to do from time to time, usually by the supervision of their elders, but there are no elders here to be seen. And Shihan walks up and he adds his own voice to this song. And a beautiful maiden, none that he had actually known, but sort of a amalgam of the different young ladies he'd known, and even some mortal women that he had met along his travels, seemed to forge themselves into this image of beauty before him as she dances closer and closer to him as he sings. And she falls into his arms. He looks down in her beautiful eyes, and he leans down to kiss her. And just before their lips meet, his eyes open, and he sees Blogvir standing over him. And he sort of shudders.
Not someone that you want to kiss. No.
Good morning, Blogvir.
You were sleeping rather soundly. I didn't want to wake you.
I understand, but apparently I woke myself. The things are just out of reach. He gets up and begins gathering his things, and goes and fills his water skin with the water cascading down this waterfall. Just want to get a bit of water. I wouldn't take any food. I think that's considered rude, I believe.
I'll take your word for it.
So, and once all of his things are gathered back together and they're ready to go, he looks at Blogvir and says, "Do you think we should go up?" I believe that was the way the stag fellow indicated.
Well, that's the way he went, and from the look at the path, a lot of people have gone up there, but it could be leading us to our doom. We don't know where it leads, so your guess is as good as mine.
Yes, at this point, I should probably do a sight roll, shouldn't I?
That might help.
Okay. 17.
Well, that may or may not be the abode of a being such as himself.
So maybe we should leave the way we entered. Okay. He pauses for a moment, looks up, and almost has a wistful look in his eye. He nods and turns and says, "Yeah, maybe not. We want to disturb him, and we don't want to find ourselves in the land of being such as he, being a normal. Yes, take our leave to the front door."
Lead on. Just this time, try not to get us lost,
I'll
please.
do my best. He did say north, right?
I believe so.
She as he's walking out, sort of goes over his shoulder. North is the way the river flows, right? With a bit of a twinkle in his eye and a smile on his face.
Oh, God has helped me.
So, just like a previous session, you guys walk back out the way you came, and you are through that twist and tangle of cramped space and stones and vines. You find yourselves back out on that great riverbank. Looking over across the river is the eastern wastes there.
Oh, yeah. So that's that is going to be a 27 for a traveling check to orient myself in the direction he told me to go.
That would be turning left and following the river up.
Yeah. Okay.
Simple as that.
She kind of walks out and turns to start going down the river for a few steps. He stops, says, "No, this way," and turns around and goes back along the
Oh my God.
to the north.
Blogvir looks unsettled. He doesn't follow him right off the bat when he turns around. He's like, he's lost his mind already. He's already just lost it. But he just takes a deep breath and sighs, and he just starts following him, and he just hopes that they don't end up, halfway across the world.
Okay. Now, we'll actually fast forward those first 2 days. Following the river north, it's actually pretty easy not to get lost. but you do pitch camp kind of like under a big oak tree on the side of a hill, kind of overlooking kind of a not quite a ravine, but a deep lowland that is kind of it's shielded on two sides by the river and the rockiness of the riverbank. Clearly, you're getting close to the Arborian border. One good way for guides to know that is on the east side of the river, it's quite flat and rolling plains, but on the Arborian side, it is rocky and craggy and harsh, creating a people that is equally harsh and treacherous. Now, you pitch camp. I will say that you guys have probably built your stealth fire already. There's music on the winds. You're not familiar with what that musical instrument is. A weird, strange thing. There's a bit of a tinniness to it, but it wafts on the warm autumn breeze up to your campsite. It's below you as you're partway up a ridge here. And you do see that campfire light come down in this lowland area. How are you guys oriented, and what are you guys actually doing? It's it's about an hour and a half after sunset.
We probably would have been, had we somebody stopped, we probably would have prepared our food and eaten. And of course, the sound of this music, and you said there was a campfire down below?
Yes.
Okay. Look at Blogvir and says, should we? I have yet to encounter a traveler who sings or plays an instrument who is nefarious.
There's a first time for everything. We've only encountered bandits and Atlanteans and giant griffins, but I am as intrigued as you are. But I don't know if we should go up there traipsing in the cover of darkness up to these wanderers. They may take that as a threat.
Well, are you saying I need to go down and look in there for you and let you know it's safe?
How far would it be for him to go to this campfire down there?
It is pretty faint on the wind, and the firelight is a ways off, maybe like a 40-minute walk in the darkness. There is no moon out tonight, so it's extra dark here.
It's too far away. You'll be out by yourself for so long. And it's so dark, you would have to light a torch to navigate, and they would see you coming.
True.
On the wind, you hear laughter, as if someone told probably a really good joke, and someone down there is rather tickled by it.
Well, I kind of want to know what that joke was. Now, maybe we should go down there.
I think so too. Shihan tosses some dirt on the fire to put it out. Gathers his things up and says, "Let's be off. Let's go see who these jovial travelers are tonight."
I've never heard an Atlantean laugh. I've heard them scream, cry for their mothers, but never laugh. So they may be friendly.
Hopefully. So Shihan shoulders his pack and hefts his bow and starts off across the ground. So,
Are you being quiet about it?
I don't think at this point we really need to be quiet. We want to make sure they know there's someone approaching their camp. We don't want to just appear.
Plus, Blogvir doesn't know what quiet
okay.
means.
Okay, all right.
It's not his vocabulary. It's foreign to him. It's alien. What is this quiet you speak of?
Not what we encountered when you were asleep, my friend. So yeah, we're not. I mean, we're not going to make a. I'm not going to go out of my way to make noise, but I'm just going to walk as if I'm traveling, not necessarily trying to be stealthy or anything, and trying to sort of show a friendly front.
Okay. Yeah, all right. Non-threatening move, and
Yeah.
you're not being quiet. Just a normal walk here. All right.
Make fun all you want, my friend, but my sleep roars keep the predators away.
All right.
I think your sleep roars may actually attract certain females of large predatory species. I swear I've seen them crawling around the edge of camp at night, pining away at you.
You jest, but I have had dealings with such things in the past, and they are rather uncomfortable.
The night before last, a great bear wandered up and sat at the edge of the firelight and swayed back and forth as if your snoring was a song.
You missed your calling. The Pike King needs a jester, it would seem.
Mm-hmm. Just observation, my friend. Just observation. So, um, as we come near the camp, we'll probably stop a good, say, 20 paces away, just at the edge, possibly of firelight. And what do we see before us?
Okay. Hang on here. I have to go over my notes here quick, like. All right. So, what you see, I'll say, well, yeah, there's a fair amount of underbrush in this location, so you guys could be huddled, just behind it, and beyond the brush is their camp. What you see, is about a half dozen pavilions with 2 campfires. From your vantage point beforehand, you could only see the one. And these pavilions are kind of they're not quite a canvas cloth. They're lighter than that. It's not like silk light, but it's a heavy, durable cloth. But it's light and flowy, not of the fate. However, the individuals here you see are kind of settled around a campfire. They're kind of lounging about. One of which is actually playing a musical instrument that looks like a horn, but it's got what I'm about to describe kind of sounds like a saxophone, but that's not the image I'm trying to get across. Now it's a horn that has finger holes like a flute does. And this piper is a male. He's got a few male companions around him and a few female companions around him. These individuals, however, are of a race that you two have neither seen before. In the firelight and in the torchlight around them, they are a deep wine red in skin color. They appear to be mortal in some form or fashion. Their hair is thick and flowing and sometimes comes in black, sometimes blonde, and sometimes possibly flaxen. One of the women who has it was black of hair, has something in her hair, or possibly even the individual strands of hair have flecks of silver in them. So her mane there almost looks like a patch of night sky, and with the silver glittering through it, it looks like starlight. They speak a language that is absolutely and entirely alien to you. It's their tone to each other is, you assume it's casual. It's They're being pleasant with each other, but to your ears, it's seductive. It's almost sultry, both men and women. Um, Beyond this campfire merriment, and you do see them passing around um, like a decanter of wine, and you can smell it from here. Whatever they're having, it's strong. Um, Beyond this campfire, you see a pen. It's like a slave pen, and you actually see 4 Atlanteans in this slave pen. Um, 4 Atlanteans. Now, Keith, make me an awareness test, quick, like.
Double eights.
If you can. Oh shit! Double eights. Oh, nice.
Yep. Double eights.
Blogvir can make an awareness test too if you wish. But in the gloom, beyond the firelight, Shihan spies 4 Atlanteans, 2 Nemersians, 2 bearded folk, and Calamity of Calamities. You see a sylph in that pen with them.
Oh, wow. I pause for a moment, look at Blogvir, and say, I think we found ourselves some slavers.
They have Atlanteans.
And they have some Nemersians and some bearded folk, and of all things, a sylph as well.
I don't think Blogvir knows what a sylph is.
He's never heard of one or seen one before.
What now? A silk?
No, a sylph. Guard your heart closely. They're some of the most beautiful beings in the world.
Blogvir just gripped his chest.
The sentries around the camp are actually they are indeed mortals, but they are not Nemersians. They're garbed in a similar fashion to these alien people. Bronze armor with leather components, like a half skirt, half kilt, pleated and armored with bronze rivets, and in some places it's dyed like that deep wine red, and also portions of jet black. The mortals, however, are gray-eyed and tawny-haired, muscular, but they're, like I said, they're not Nemersians. They're from somewhere else. You've never seen these guys before either.
Blogvir is going to take the great sword off the sled, and he's going to grip it in his hand, holding it down by the hilt, gripping the blade down by the hilt.
Make a sight test, please.
Oh,
as you do that, I need a sight roll.
That's a 7.
You feel there is a modicum of power in that blade.
Say what?
Make a make me an intuition test here, quick.
Okay.
That is it's going to be cunning based here.
That's a 6.
6. Okay. Yeah, there's you look down in the gloom, you do indeed see a trollish rune actually carved into the wooden hilt just under the crossguard there. And that there kind of is a kind of a two-toned silver shimmer that goes over the rune and then disappears into the shadow. There is
Blogvir is wide-eyed, but ain't smiling, is it? He's like, fuck it, it's Christmas.
Now Shihan has he moved at all?
No, once he
sorry, go for it.
Sure. Once he observed that there were more slaves than just the Atlanteans in those pens, he basically froze where he was at. When he notices Blogvir on him, taking off his weapon and pull it out, he unslings his bow He sort of nods to Blogvir, almost as if to say, "Good idea." And then he leans towards Blogvir, sort of motioning him for him to come down. He says, "I know you don't like them, but what if we could get the Atlanteans to do our work for us?"
Are you thinking about freeing them and setting them upon the slavers?
I think so. Maybe that, and with guarding the goodwill, maybe have these Atlantean slaves take us to their, I don't know, their commander.
Do we really want to go to an Atlantean commander, Shihan?
Well, if we could talk them into attacking the cult, we wouldn't be risking our Boreans. The Atlanteans just put their own blood for us.
That is one thing. We could also speak with these slavers, or what we assume as slavers. For all we know, those captives in there attacked them, and they're merely war trophy. That there's so many things that could have happened.
There could be. Shion has this glint in his eye, as if the idea of just attacking them outright almost appeals to him. But I'll do a roll. Yeah. Okay. He sort of tamps it down. I got a 19 for my spell resist base, or my sight roll.
Okay.
To basically resist the darkness of the shadow. Maybe you're right. Maybe we shouldn't go in arrows flying. Do you wish to go and speak to them, and I will remain in the shadows and
take read my mind.
We're starting to know each other quite well. So.
Yeah, if they begin to be hostile, I'll expect arrows in their throat.
You'll get them too.
All right. I get up off my knee and I grip the sword, the troll magic sword in my hand. I don't have it. I don't have it by the hilt. I'm grabbing it by the blade, close down to the cross guard. My gauntlet protected me from cutting myself. I don't want to come in there with it in my hand, ready for battle. I kind of have it like a hand sheath, and nonchalantly just holding it at my side. And then I will begin approaching these foreign wine creatures, wine fire spirits. He doesn't know what they are. Some sort of wine spirit that enjoys capturing people and drinking. So he will approach them cautiously, but not quietly.
Okay. Do you walk into the camp, or do you walk via the place that has sentries?
I will leave my position and walk towards the camp, but I will let my presence be known. I'll be like, "Hell, don't shoot. Come in peace."
I have a 25 for stealth to basically keep an eye on his back without being seen.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. This is gonna be great. Okay. So Blogvir, you walk into their, I suppose not into their midst, but into the light, I'm assuming.
Yeah, into the firelight so they can see me. I call out an ogrish. I mean, I don't know these things, so I don't know what they speak. So I'll just go to my native language. I just go to it first. So I call in a booming voice to let them know that I'm coming and hopefully not kill me.
You startle the piper there for a few moments as he drops the horn in the mud, and he goes for a knife. There's a couple other individuals there that were once heavily into their cups, but they're indeed now sober, as your impressive figure just looms in on them. Now, they kind of shout something startled in their own language, and an individual comes out of one of the tents, and he is clad in a bronze, kind of like a bronze, like half skirt thing, male, kind of a half male skirt, and clearly he's not wearing a shirt because he's half disheveled as if he was getting undressed to visit somebody, as it were. There's a short sword in his hand as he looks at your feet. He follows it all the way up, and he says something, and it doesn't matter what language that you speak. It doesn't matter where you come from. You know exactly what he said, but he's uh-huh. And he kind of lingers around like where your groin would be, and which is like eye level with him. His eyes go wide for a few moments. A couple of the these alien women kind of huddle behind a couple of the guards. As the camp is now roused, from your vantage point, you can actually see there's another slave pen with 9 shadowy, hairy, shaggy things in this cage. 6 more of these tawny-haired mortals come into your midst as they're not pleased to see you. Many of them are very, very intoxicated. Unfortunately, you can't tell because of their skin. And there's kind of this awkward pause. What do the both of you do here?
Blogvir will just wave his free hand to him and call out in Feywise, I guess, this time, and like, I come in peace. I did not mean to frighten you.
Shihan's going to watch the individuals there and try to do a bit of an insight to see if he can figure out who the leader is, or who the obvious leader may be. That's going to be that's just basic cunning. It's going to be a 9.
Yeah, you can't tell.
Okay.
All of these people, at least these alien people, are actually quite opulently dressed. So, with your information, any one number of them could be the leader here. A few moments later, a woman comes out. Another one of these aliens comes out of her tent in a robe that she is not tying shut. She does not care. She walks out into this midst, and Keith, that is obviously the head honcho in charge there. Because she walks with this confidence that you can only aspire to. And she places her hands on her hips and just follows her gaze up to Blogvir. And she replies in Ogreish. She says, "Good evening. We were not expecting a visitor, especially of your kind, in this part of the world."
I was not expecting to hear music on the wind, and I definitely wasn't expecting red-skinned foreigners to be here with laughter and wine. And the Atlanteans in the slave pen is also unexpected.
She glances over her shoulder at the Atlanteans. She goes, "Oh, them. Yes. They make easy enough prey when they're alone in the dark."
I have never seen your kind before. Forgive my ignorance, but what do you call yourselves? What are you doing out here?
Oh, we are natives of the inner world.
Does Blogvir know what the hell the inner world is?
Yeah, the inner world is the ring of mountains near the center of the world.
Oh, so they're
very, very far from home.
It's a long vacation they're going. Okay. You are very far from home.
Yes, we are. We're travelers, which is an obvious lie. Oh shit. Okay, her deception is a big old 9.
So
And
what?
She's hot, but she's not a very good liar.
What do I roll to counter her
Uh,
deception?
Premonition counters deception.
I don't think I have any of that. So, all right.
Shihan probably can hear her from where he's standing.
And I have no premonition either.
Yeah, I rolled an 8. So
Oh shit!
That's
Okay.
that's based off of spirit, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
We have a
oh
spirit.
wait, no, I rolled a 9 then. I rolled a 9. So I rolled a 9.
Oh,
15 for me.
what's that?
15 for me.
Okay, yeah, she's fucking lying. But Ty goes to the defender for Blogvir, so clearly, no, she's telling the truth.
Okay.
I mean, he thinks it's odd, but I mean, he has no reason to disbelieve, to distrust them. No, they're just travelers,
Yeah,
So
right.
yeah,
Of course.
maybe traveling minstrels for all he knows, who just capture the Atlanteans.
Are you alone? She actually, you know what? She's actually gonna throw some allure at you. She has 8 grades in allure, so clearly she's gorgeous. And oh shit, that is a 24.
God damn.
Effortless 24.
I don't think I could beat that. I wanted to, unless I exploded.
You might explode anyway.
In my pants, yeah.
Yeah, right. That is just a spirit test.
Oh fuck. Yeah, there's no way. Nope. Okay, that's a 6.
Oh yeah,
So
she has a really super exotic and sultry accent. So yeah, she's purring at you now.
Blogvir kind of gulps, kind of loosens his gambeson underneath his breastplate. Yeah, well, he just kind of stumbles and mutters. He can't exactly find the words. You said her robe is like open, so she's just like naked under there.
Yeah, she's
purring
not
at him.
wearing anything under this robe.
So he's kind of flustered. He's kind of sweating a little bit. Blogvir has never experienced coupling. He's still very much a virgin. So this
that's a surprise.
this
Actually, no, it's not a surprise knowing Blogvir.
But I mean, he's seen the female form in all its glory, but not like this, and not in this fashion. So he's kind of flustered. His slate gray cheeks are turning bright red. He's kind of fumbling, fidgeting a little bit. He's just like he tries to take his eyes away from her, but he can't. And he tries to keep eye contact with her, but he can't. His gaze just his gaze is he's all over her like flies on shit. His eyes are everywhere. So she has got the upper hand on him here.
Shihan, I'm pretty sure Shihan can hear this going on, but
yeah.
just kind of gives him this. Okay, Shihan can tell that this is not an innocent smile whatsoever, but clearly Blogvir is like, no, she's a princess. She's nice, of course.
Yet to him, she's like the queen of this traveling band of merrymakers who can do no wrong, apparently.
So she has the look of a hunting cat who's found quarry.
It's more eyeing him hungrily, but yes,
Right.
cat indeed.
Almost Cougar-esque. Shihan's going to make his way around the perimeter since these guys all seem to. They seem to be all focused on Blogvir right now.
Oh yeah, he has he has the attention of the entire camp, as well as the slaves.
Okay. Well, then Shihan's going to walk or make his way around the edge of the camp to behind where the commander is, and basically up to one of the fires if possible.
You'll be having to
Hey.
enter the camp at that point.
I'm gonna try to be stealthy about it though.
Okay.
That's gonna be a 18
Okay.
stealth roll.
All right. Ooh, shit. Oh, damn. Nope. You beat it, buddy. Shit. Okay.
Basically, he's gonna go and sit down next to the fire, sort of casually, and wait for this. As this thing is going on, you just sort of watch the situation.
Grab you some wine.
Yeah, no, I'm going to drink my own wine. I'm not going to pick theirs because it could be drugged. But I'm going to pour myself a bit of clear water into a cup and take a sip and sort of watch this thing play out and see what they do.
Blogvir will.
She's looking at him as he's quite tasty. He's quite handsome. Yeah, her eyes are all over you like flies on shit too.
I'm going to look around at all the other people there that are watching Blogvir and her, and what are their reaction to this? So, is there anyone that seems jealous?
They're actually quite suspicious. One of the actually, you know what? Here, one of the mortals looks over at you, cocks his eyebrow, and he says something off in kind of a broken. He's trying to obviously grasp this alien language, and he clearly says something along the lines of like, "What the hell?" And everyone looks at you now.
I'll grin ear to ear. I'll say hello. And well, he'll use Feywise. And say hello in Feywise. And just smile and look at them. Using a lure as well, by the way.
Oh, of course.
Okay. That is going to be a 27.
Oh, wow. Well done. So yeah, you've got the attention of quite a few of them, but we'll say the mistress here, she takes a look back at you and says, she also speaks Feywise and says, "Oh, good evening."
Good evening.
So you're not alone. She kind of throws a wink over at Blogvir to make sure his eyes are still on her.
And Shihan says, in these lands, one is never truly alone.
Well, that is good, but you best introduce yourselves. It is considered rude to enter someone's camp or abode unannounced.
Well, I was announced. My friend Blogvir, of course, walked right in, and you seemed to welcome him quite readily.
Perhaps for now. She looks at Shihan quite suspiciously at that point.
I am Shihan the Red Blade, sworn to the court of the Pike King, friend to the Forest King, once courier for the Lord of the Harvest, friend of Arborian, friend of Numercian.
She hisses at that last bit.
Slayer of Atlanteans. I put a little bit of a bite on Atlanteans. And no enemy of yours.
If you are a friend to the Arborians, then you may as well be our enemy then. She kind of narrows her eyebrows at you.
I have no quarrel with the Arborians. If you have a quarrel with them, that is your business. I will not stand in your way if you were to be confronted by one and you chose to draw weapons. That is your business, not mine.
You are of the fairies, yes?
Some call us that, yes. Some call us forest devils.
There's kind of this collective sound that kind of comes from everybody. Like, yeah, they've heard of that term before.
I bet. So we are only travelers on a quest, looking for those who might wish to raise arms against a horrid cult that wishes to lay low all that walk freely upon Arkanar below the sun, such as yourselves.
Oh, we are of no cult, I will have you know, ferryman.
Oh, I did not expect you to be of a cult. I've seen what the cult does to their prisoners, and you do not do that.
Oh, them? She kind of just hand dismissively waves at the two slave pens. Oh, they are of no consequence. Ignore them.
I am. So, do you know this cult? The cult of the dead that calls themselves they call themselves the cult of the Darkened Face.
Only recently we were approached by a few mongrels clad in what seemed to be burial shrouds.
Yes, they
asking if we possessed any strange sorceries, but she indicates the half disheveled male behind you,
Mhm.
and he just nods. Actually, he points with his chin to a row of stakes outside of his tent, and there's 6 little fucking heads on these spikes.
Shihan looks over, and these small heads sort of smiles a little bit, like, efficient. We can carry many trophies upon one's belt. I'll have to ask you about that, how that's done. But my friend here, the tall ogre before you, is Blogvir. He is an ogre dedicated to the Lady Carnage, seeking his lost love, taken by the Atlanteans.
Oh, we hear a lot about these Atlantean people.
Yes, they do. They do seem to be
from a
everywhere.
distant land across the sea, and they mean to invade this mainland and enslave everyone upon it.
They do,
for whatever reason.
because they believe they're superior to all that walk upon the land and apparently swimming in the sea. As my friend Blogvir is fond of saying, they have congress with fish quite often.
Oh, well, that may be the case. Nothing else breeds below the waves but fish.
I suppose. Never been blown ways myself. Never had the urge. More of a forest dweller myself. Although my lord, he likes the waters quite well. And in fact, the river there belongs to him.
I am aware.
So, where are you bound?
She looks at she kind of like partially looks away when her eyes are still on Shihan. Why do you ask?
Simple curiosity.
Where
I mean,
are
if
you
it's
bound?
we're bound to the north, looking for fodder to throw against this cult, for we know where their stronghold is.
I see. We
There
are
is
likely
one.
bound farther north than you care to travel.
Yes, I personally, and I believe my friend Blogvir there as well, have a personal discussion to have with one Indu Kaga, who claims himself to be the leader of this cult, at least locally.
Oh yes, I'm aware of Endukaga. He is a necromancer.
Yes, I intend to allow him to become that which he seeks to be, dead.
With a necromancer like Endukaga, you would be hard pressed to do so, and you would also be doing him a favor.
But if I were to dismember him, disembowel him, and skin him alive before making him dead, he would not be quite as effective, I think. A writhing, screaming torso does not scare me quite as much as a walking, talking thing of dead matter.
You are not accustomed to such dead things, then. And clearly,
No.
you're not a magician yourself.
No, I'm not.
Well, you live in the ignorant realm of mortals. Keep it that way. There are horrors beyond your.
Oh,
recognizing.
I have seen things. I do not have any kind of trade with them, but I have seen them. So I've seen things that dwell in the bottom of crypts, spirits of long dead wardens who wish to give me tasks, foul beasts that should not be, but die all the same.
What is Blogvir doing this entire time?
Yeah. Blogvir is staring at her slack-jawed with drool rolling down his mouth. The entire time. He is that's what he's doing. He is and his codpiece has risen a good 6 inches away from his body, so he is enthralled.
All right, well done to her then. Now she just kind of, her gaze settles upon her companions, and they all kind of like relax a little bit, like, okay, she's got this. I suppose, since we have met, I suppose it's fair. Would you wish to stay and drink with us for a few moments before you leave for the evening?
I think that would be pleasurable, as long as I could have your name, fair lady. Doesn't give you hours.
You do not need to know my name.
Shihansworth cocks his head to one side. As you wish. But I must call you something other than woman.
You may call me lady then.
As you wish, lady. And since we're dropping formalities, you may just refer to me as Red Blade if you like. It's a name well earned.
She dismisses herself and kind of gives this at ease motion to the rest of the group, as everyone's still pretty suspicious of you, but she returns to her tent, and you assume that Champion actually follows her.
Okay.
The piper there just kind of slowly picks up that horn and kind of sits there awkwardly as the two of you just in this ether of tension.
Okay. Shihan will get up and gracefully walk over to Blogvir, lean over to him and say in bearded folk, since I know we'll both speak that, drink only your own drink.
Blogvir snaps out of his entrancement, whenever she leaves, and wipes the drool from his mouth and realizes the state he's in. He kind of makes a move to cover his erection in a way, and then he just kind of nods and just half-heartedly just still blushing. He seems extremely embarrassed now that he realizes that what happened to him. He's never been taken like this before. So yeah, he's trying to recover.
Yes, and Shihan says, drink only of your own drink, and we will only stay as long as courtesy requires. Then I think we should be on our way and not in the same way we came from.
Yeah. What'd you say?
I have a feeling she kind of looks around at these human or these mortals around us. Do they have the look of the kind of the in their eyes of the nobles he used to lead to raid these Nemersian villages? That hard-eyed look of a predator.
Only on herself and possibly the champion there.
Okay.
Everyone else seems to be either like a working class individual or possibly a professional military.
So possibly just mercenaries. Okay. Okay. So hired swords, if you will. All right. So he goes over and pulls out his, once again his own water and takes a sip, sets it down, and reattaches the top, puts the cork in, wets his lips a bit, pulls out his flute and starts singing or starts playing a little jaunty tune. So a fairly simple one, but he has a 14 on the song.
Let's see if the piper. Oh, actually, he is able. He picks up your tune and he actually plays along with you.
Okay.
After a few verses, he's got the melody, so he plays probably the beat, if you will.
Okay. That's sort of the idea. Just sort of get a little counterpoint going on there. Sort of in a way, going from that tense moment where there seems to be a confrontation to that moment is past. Now it's time for frivolity. So, and do it pretty quickly. Boom. So keep them basically, keep their head spinning.
Oh yeah. They're these alien people they kind of cluster on the opposite side of of the campfire to you, so they're not near you.
Oops. So okay, just I'll basically he's going to try to maintain that air of weirdness, almost not necessarily intimidation, but enhancing and making sure they see his horns, the light glittering in his eyes, and if possible, even set in such a way that Blogvir can loom behind him.
Yeah, Blogvir. Yeah, he'll be back there, and he'll be drinking his water to calm him down, to cool him off after what happened. So he's recuperating back there, just behind Jihan, let him do his thing.
Actually, yeah, there's still out here. There's kind of this weirdness going on, but you kind of reminded about those slaves out of the corner of your eye, Blogvir, and most pointedly, you see that stark white, silvery sheen of the nude flesh of this sylph that is kind of like huddled in the mud in the side, actually in the corner of this slave pen.
But it's by itself. There's like nobody else in there with it.
No, she is by herself in this little corner, kind of in the fetal position, while everyone else is just kind of like scattered about. Oh, of course, the Atlanteans are sitting together. The Nemersians are sitting together. A couple of the bearded folk are sitting together, so they're just kind of like segregated in there. Obviously, the Nemersians and the bearded folk are pleasant with each other, but the other two entities are just nah.
I mean, Blogvir doesn't want to go over there and make all these people back up in arms and whatnot. He feels if he walks towards the slaves, they're gonna take some offense to it. So he'll just like look at this the sylph who he's never seen, just like from afar, and just like analyze her. I guess he's never seen her before, her kind before at all. But he doesn't want to approach and draw the ire of the people around here.
Two of the mortals, the sentries, stay and kind of like keep their eye on you, while the other four go back to their posts. But clearly on their radar, it's you two who are in the midst of their encampment. And so, yeah, you guys are able to at least, well, I shouldn't say relax, because you're not.
Yeah, Blogvir is on edge after he realized how he was so ensorcelled, if you will, with this woman. He's definitely on his guard now. He can't be lax in his vigil now. He has to make up for the embarrassment that he had. So he's on watch. His eyes are gazing about, scanning the horizon, make sure that no one's sneaking up on him or anything.
Oh no, you don't sense any skullduggery at this time, we'll say. But what you do hear is in the lady's tent, something gets knocked over, and you assume it's her chuckling, and that some like covers, like some blankets being moved. So something's going on in there. Well, wait, what? Yeah, exactly.
Someone's having a good time while we're out here cutting attention with a knife. They're just nonchalantly having their nighttime coitus. So,
of course.
So this sylph is just in the fetal position, covered in mud in the corner by herself, while everybody else is just like...
She's completely wretched in the corner. She's covered in mud, caked with shit. Her silvery hair is like almost white, pale, almost white as snow. It's rained recently, so she's got like mud spatter on herself, and she actually still has her wings. Her wings are she is about 4'8" tall, and her wings kind of hang down from her shoulders like a cloak. And her wings are covered in mud as well. And of course, Shihan sees this on the corner of his eye too. So she's a wretched thing.
Blogvir is going to go up to Shihan. Shihan.
Yes.
What can you tell me about sylphs?
That's a good question. What can I tell them about sylphs?
Oh, roll.
It's a 12.
Okay. Basically, a sylph is a kind of fairy that is actually the largest of the... you could technically consider themselves Seelie, immortal fae, but they're not. They're closer to, say, Fairfolk and Igniads and Umbriads than to Seelie, the immortal fae. They're shorter than most fae. They live way up high on tops of mountains. So that you never get to see these things, like, ever, unless you're a mountaineer, of course. And like Shihan said before, they're one of the most beautiful fae races in the world. Incredibly rare sight, and seeing one so put upon is, at least for Shihan's, a little heartbreaking.
Blogvir feels it too. That's why he asked about it. Like, he's never seen this creature before, but seeing it's so pitiful, and just imagining what she could look like when she's cleaned up in full glory, and she's just been reduced to this dejected state. It makes him, it hurts, it pulls on his heartstrings. He don't even know these creatures. He's never even seen them before, but he feels this like this sadness for this creature. He feels the pitiful little creature. He wants to go there and save it. He wants to tear the freaking bars or whatever out of the thing and take her away and save her or something. He feels so bad.
Yes, and that's Shihan has that same pang, and seeing her kindles a bit of a, well, it's not very, very deep to be kindled, really. It's just sort of whether or not it's going to be suppressed or not. There's that anger that these mere mortals would place one of the noble fae into such squalor. She should be the one in that tent, and that harlot should be out there in the mud because of this.
Blogvir will lean in close to you and whisper in your ear in Beardish, "We can't leave without her, Shihan. We can't leave her in there."
Yes, we cannot. And someone's going to pay for this. He does a quick count. How many mortals are there that he's seen so far in this camp?
Including the humans, the human foreigners, the tawny-haired ones. There's 6 of them. There are 16 of the other individuals, these aliens that you spoke of. There are 2 individuals that have been sitting at a table, kind of under an overhang. They look like they're dressed like priests. They're a little bit more finer and devout looking. And of course, there is obviously the mistress and the champion there. So
of course, there's Mr. Head Shrinker too. Or is he one of the 2 sitting at the table?
No, he's in the tent with the mistress. That's the champion that you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
I could make a distraction.
There's close to 26 people that you'd have to fight.
That's what I was thinking. It'd be 26 people for us to fight our way out. Of course, thinking some Beardish. And of course, I have a smile on my face. I'm saying this. Sort of nodding. And I'm not sure we can do that. Not without great harm to ourselves.
At this point, Blogvir doesn't even care. Like, he's so sad for this creature that he's never seen before his entire life. He can't describe it, but he needs to save that creature, that pitiful creature in the corner. And when Shihan says, great harm to himself, Blogvir doesn't even give a second thought about it. He wants to save that pitifully dejected creature that in that little corner over there. He has to save it. It's like a lost puppy. He's got his rescue.
There's also a second pen that this pen has a slave pen actually has a tarp on the roof of it. And just okay. It starts raining at this point. It's slight trickling rain. And you see 9 of these hair-covered, squat, savage-looking things. And Shihan knows exactly what these things are because his people have driven these horrible, awful things from to the farthest reaches of the woodland. These are actually these ape savage horror things.
I could cause a distraction, try to get some of their attention, offer a drinking game, a contest of strength, arm wrestling, something, and then you can work your magic, your Shihan magic.
Yes. Go over out in the center over there, where you have a place you can run to out in the bushes, and give them some feats of strength. I think that these men would be highly interested in that.
We can't fight them. We have to do this stealthily.
I know. What I'm suggesting isn't actually trying to take these people on. It's only giving her a chance.
I'll do my best. Once you get her free, we need to run as fast as we can.
I can't guarantee I'll get her free. I can only give her a chance.
All right, Blogvir will get up and walk into the center camp and. Come now. Who wishes to take me on a game of strength, a test of strength? Who here? Who here's not a weakling or a coward? Come test your strength against me. He'll just say in a big, loud, booming voice.
All right. Well, okay. There's a couple of them, a couple of the warriors. You assume that these mercenaries, one of them being one of these aliens, another one of them being one of the mortals, comes over to humor you, really. Like, all right, show us what you can do. This is one of the mortals talking. He's speaking ogreish.
I guess I will sit up in like on a table or a rock or something, like and start trying to arm wrestle him. I guess in a feat of strength. See if he can beat me.
He looks at you like you're insane. He's like, I'm not going to arm wrestle you. You're an ogre. You could step on me. You could eat me. That is not a fair contest.
I yell across the camp. See how many you can pick up.
Oh yeah, of course. Well, everybody gather around now.
That's just those two. No, they're
well, I just pick them up easy. I get to go there and just pick them up.
You pick up one of the people.
I grab the other one with my other hand and other arm and pick him up too, and like hoist him above my head.
No, they're just kind of like they kind of struggle in your. I was like, don't drop us, don't. What are you doing?
Then I just start lifting them up in the air.
Okay, so you're basically hoisting two toddlers, being like you're Arnold Schwarzenegger holding up two 2-year-olds with one hand and you're a toddler in each hand, and you're benching them.
Yeah,
that's what I'm seeing. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing in my mind.
No, one of the piper stops playing. That is unimpressive. All ogres do that. Ogre children can do that.
Oh, well, then, my friend, what would you like to see him lift?
I do not wish to see him lift anything.
Well, what would you like to see? Would you like to see him wrestle someone, or?
He is not going to wrestle any of us. He would kill them. He just as soon as step on them.
I can drink you all under the table.
Yeah, Shihan looks over towards the cage, the far cage, and the tarp over it. He says, it will be interesting to see my ogre wrestle one of them.
They are slave labor. They are not for sport like that.
Maybe you think they're too weak? You're not feeding them well enough?
We feed them plenty. Well, they have been dining on the fellows of that 4 wretched lot for the past couple weeks. He points with the stem of his horn at the Atlanteans.
Atlantean fed beasts, Shihan says quite loudly, so hopefully Blogvir can actually hear him when he says it. He thinks to himself and sorts through some of his belongings. Doesn't really have much money per se, or things that would be considered money, but a few little trinkets he has. He starts pulling things out and looking at them and says, what to wager? Oh, I don't know what we could wager to have him wrestle just for entertainment's sake. But I I suppose if you don't want your beast to wrestle him, I won't press. It would just be such an awesome sight, though.
For your kind, I suppose it would be.
Oh, if you recall, our kind used to hunt those. Still do from time to time.
I am aware.
Mm-hmm.
They make excellent stone haulers as well.
They would, yes, if you can keep them tame enough.
Well, a severely deadly beating when it's required is enough to make them do what you wish of them. They're not entirely stupid. There is an alien cunning amongst them.
Yeah. They were quite cunning. We would be chasing them through the forests, and they seem to almost have I don't know, almost intelligence to them, but not quite. Like the most cunning of beasts. You know what I mean?
Beast still, but an interesting beast nonetheless.
Yes, they are. So
there are far worse than those. This is still the Piper speaking. There's far worse than those where we come from. And there's kind of like this collective dozen of people from the inner world going, yeah, that it gets. And one of the women who speaks Feywise says it only gets worse the closer and closer you get to the inner world.
Yes. So, well, I have seen many of them, and of course the Atlanteans. But there's one marvel you have here that I don't know if it doesn't seem right in the condition it is in. Is that truly a sylph you have?
Oh, her?
Yes.
Yeah. No. Yeah. That is a sylph.
Why is she covered in dirt and mud and such, and in such a horrible state?
Because she didn't want to be put into a tent. She wanted to stay in there with the rest of that sorry lot. Heavens know why.
Are you slavers? Are any of your labor for sale or trade?
We're not slavers, but our custom is to take slaves as, well, I suppose the mortal term for that, we would be slavers, yes. The Piper kind of looks over at one of the humans, and he translates, and there's kind of this moment of like, how do you say what's this word? And the tawny haired individual goes, no, that's slaver is the proper term, but that is not what we were supposed to be doing out here.
Oh. What caused you to change paths?
We're scouts.
No. So these are basically prisoners to take back for intelligence purposes.
Not, well, they could possess information, but they are gifts for the Empress. Exotic things.
Now I understand. They're tribute. Yes, I understand their prizes. The prizes for your lady, your lady. Yes, I understand this. Yes, so we too do that for our Piper.
There's a higher queen and empress above our leader, and the Piper points to he's indicating the woman that she spoke to before. He's speaking of somebody else.
Yeah, yes, she is just your leader, but back home you have a high empress that you give tribute to.
Yes.
Yes, I understand the concept. Yes. Okay.
That is our way. Yes.
So
we are scouts, but we seem to have happened upon exotic delights from the outer world, and our leader thought it would be prudent to bring back such interesting things, sights, and items, I suppose.
So this sylph is a tribute to your empress?
Yes. We are told that sylphs sing quite beautifully. And
They
we thought
do.
her singing might please the Empress. She's quite sad these days.
I thought that at one time I may have heard a sylph sing far off in the distance just after a storm once, but I can't be sure. I couldn't see them. I would love to hear her sing, but I don't believe you could coax her to do so at this time.
She wanted to stay in that pen when our lady or captain offered her her own tent. No, she decided to stay in there.
I thought that sylphs live in the mountains.
Oh, they do. We
And you
crossed
come-
mountains to come here.
It seems a long way to drag her around.
Of course.
But a mouth to feed. Supplies to waste.
She does not eat very much. And we have plenty of provisions for all of the slaves, as well as the ape things in the...
They're definitely not... He leans over and looks towards the pen with the Atlanteans in it and says, they definitely do not seem to be underfed in any way. So,
One of the Nemercians is, but he's probably just small.
Okay. That or he's in some way been a troublemaker, I'm willing to bet.
Maybe. No. That he is covered in bruises, so yeah, probably.
If I were to hand my friend Blogvir here my weapons and such, would I be allowed to approach this sylph and speak with her?
She doesn't want to speak to anybody, but
She may to me.
The captain who sees over said slaves is over there. He points to one of these priest-looking individuals under this overhang, as they are they're staying out of the rain at this time.
He is a priest, yes?
Yes, priest of the great spirit of battle.
Spirit of battle. Is that spirit by any chance to Lady Carnage?
Well, that is what the mortals call the spirit, yes.
Blogvir. You should go speak with them. They're priests of your goddess.
Well, yes, of course.
Share your wine with them. Blogvir here has a specially blessed wine that specifically was given to him by a priest of Lady Carnage.
I think I shall.
I think they would be blessed to have that.
I'm going to talk to you some bitches now. I'm going to talk to you, motherfucker. I go over to him, like smiling. Actually, I'm happy now. I mean, I'm still sad for the little creature in the pen, but this, I mean, besides Veer, this is the only people I've met that worships Carnage out there. So I need to go and talk to him.
Only one of them is wearing the similar bloodied clothes that Veer did, but the other one is wearing a kind of a green and brown, kind of a muted brown robe. It has a holy symbol that, again, you're not familiar with, but the priest in the bloody robes looks up at you. Goes, good evening. He speaks ogreish. He's got a thick accent, though.
Good evening, brother. And I extend my hand like for a hardy warrior greet. No warrior handshake there.
He kind of cocks an eyebrow at you. Brother, what?
We are brothers in the faith of the great goddess Carnage, are we not?
Oh, you also worship the great spirit of battle, then. I see.
I remove my great deerskin wine, and I have sacred sacrament wine here, blessed by a priest of the order, if you would like to partake in it with me.
What needs killing?
Well, everything needs killing, brother.
No, I can. Well, we can't seem to kill our companions here now, can we?
No,
Then
but
we will not be partaking of such wine this evening.
those monkeys could die, but not. Never mind.
They are but slaves. They are not for killing. Unless, I suppose, they create a ruckus that cannot be subdued. And he kind of shoots this really he's kind of stink eyeing these ape horrors in this cage. Clearly he does not like these things, but he knows that there's a purpose for them.
So if they would say make a ruckus, it would be a shame if we would put them down.
I would not cross the captain. She knows of my distaste for such foul things, and she would know that it is me who is responsible.
The captain is also predisposed, it would seem.
Well, she is quite perceptive, even when she is in coitus with the champion. I will have you know.
Yeah, I figured as much. Well, nonetheless, it is great to see another follower of the great goddess.
He pours a bit of their own wine and offers you a cup that's more like a shot glass to you.
I mean, Blogvir remembers what Shihan said about just drinking his own shit, but he can't refuse.
No, it would be bad luck if he refused.
He kind of just looks at Shihan with a "I'm sorry," and then look, and then just down the shop without thinking.
We're gonna need a conditioning test from the Blogvir here.
All right, let's see. So that is okay. Oh, that's an 8.
Oh, wait. Shit. Do it.
That's 23.
Oh, nice. Yeah, no, you're fine.
And then I will begin regaling tales of my contribution to the great goddess, the slaughtering of giants and the wholesale slaughter of Atlanteans, and I will just regale him with tales of gore and battle.
He is thoroughly pleased to find another one so devout to the goddess Carnage as he is, and you have his undivided attention.
And my face even turns like a wicked, ravenous grin as I just recall the euphoric ecstasy of the goddess in my mind. I tell him about it, how the vision that I had in my mind, the battle frenzy that took over, and just how I've just, in great detail, how I've just slaughtered these people, popped their heads off, smacked them across the way, and just go into detail how my gory battles with all the people I've done, on the battles I've fought.
He is very jealous, for you have looked upon the visage of the goddess, and he has not been able to yet.
So I'll be doing that, I guess, to distract. I'll distract him for as long as my tales go on, and give Shihan some time to think with his Fey brain what the hell's we're gonna do.
So while this is going on, I tell the fellow I'm sitting where the musician and such. I say, I must take my leave for a moment. I must respond to the call of the nature, if you know what I mean.
He just gets up. All right.
He gets up and heads sort of perpendicular into the bushes. Well, not necessarily towards the pin, but sort of perpendicular. Not away from them, like say off to the left. And out into the bushes a bit. He actually does relieve himself because he's been drinking a lot of water. Okay. He takes one of his knives and wraps it in a bit of cloth. And as he sort of, I guess he's gonna really quickly do a wander. Ooh, okay, that's a good amount of roll. A little bit of stealth.
Ooh.
It is going to be a 23 on stealth. He is going to basically try to creep over to where he's within throwing distance of that pin.
All right. Okay.
And he is going to lob that knife in its wrappings towards that sylph to hopefully make it land near her.
All right.
Make a roll there for that.
Make a roll for it.
That's just going to be that'd be a physique, wouldn't it? Straight physique.
Yeah, that'd be. It's essentially an attack roll, is what you're trying to do.
Yeah. But I don't have a weapon that I'm. Okay, that is going to be a 14.
You knock her in the head with this thing.
Okay, that's fine.
Kind of makes this thunk, and she's awake now.
And I'll go back to where I was at. Once again, a little stealth there. That's going to be an 18 on the stealth to get back sort of where I was at nearby and come out of the try to come out of the foliage near where I went in.
Okay. All right.
And go sit down and tell the fellow it's easy to get yourself turned around out there after being near the firelight. Darkness is much darker out there.
Especially on a night with no moon.
Yes. Well, I think we should be away before my friend Blogvir over there winds up speaking and telling tales until dawn. You folks, I'm sure at some point will need some rest, and we shall as well. We still have miles to travel. So.
Okay. He bids you a good evening. At around about this time, the mistress comes out. Actually, the captain, the lady, the mistress, comes out of her tent. Again, she's not tying her robe closed, and she's putting a comb through her mane of just this jet black, almost like night sky hair. And clearly she's been it's obvious that they've been fooling around.
Of course.
And he's nowhere to be fucking seen, so God knows what. But
probably hate him.
Maybe. She unhinges her jaw like a serpent and just swallowed him whole.
Could be.
Now, she kind of glances over in your guys' direction. She sees that Blogvir is regaling one of their priests with tales of battle, who's obviously very, very much enjoying these tales. She just kind of surveys the situation, catches Shihan's eye, and she just nods and then goes back into the tent.
I raise my glass to her and take a sip. And then I'll say, I tell the fellows with that, we should take our leave. And I finish my water and sit down on her cup and say, thank you for the loan of the cup. And he gets up and walks over toward Blogvir and says, Blogvir, it's time for us to be off, my friend.
And then I knocked the ogre up. Of course. May you have great battles, friend.
Oh, it was getting to the good part. Come on now.
Go ahead and finish your tale, Blogvir. But after that, I think we should be away.
Well, you see, this giant was there before me, and I took my great club, and then I dislocated his knee, and then I smacked him in the mouth as hard as I could, and then I just jumped on him as he fell down and tore out his heart with my bare hands. As a geyser of blood shot out and rained over me, the great goddess herself erupted in ecstasy over my body. It was the most fantastic feeling in the world.
Oh, a giant. Oh, slain in battle. Oh, that must have been a tremendous fight. Oh, I am so jealous. I burn with jealousy, Blogvir. Oh.
I'll just get up and pat him, big hefty pat on the back, and don't worry, my friend. You'll be bathed in the glory of carnage soon enough. Your day will come.
Oh, I hope so. I am done with these deep scouting missions. They're quite boring.
But also, new land has new opportunity for carnage.
Yes, of course.
Well, it was nice talking with you. We should be on our way. May the
Safe
goddess keep
travels to
you.
you. He kind of tips his glass for Shihan and says, "Keep this one safe for carnage."
He sort of bows his head to the fellow and says, and if we happen to meet again, maybe I'll tell you the tale of how I felled the giant's mate he spoke of with a single shot.
He said giant snake. He said not. I killed the giant, obviously, but both of them. But he just. You can't trust these forest devils. You know, they lie sometimes. I just pat my nose and, well, we know the truth, right? Okay, we'll be on our way. Nice meeting you.
Oh, the truth, yes, indeed, yes.
Shihan sort of laughs a little bit and smiles and doesn't contradict anything Blogvir says at that point. He sort of nods and says good evening to you, and heads out of the camp away from the slaves. And
right.
he just says in British as we're leaving to Blogvir, a chance.
Oh, that's more than she had before. So I just hope that she makes it.
Okay. I think she has a chance. So.
Part of me wishes to appease the great goddess tonight, but I do not wish to die. I may have a bloodlust, but I'm not foolish. Sometimes.
Same here. So, although my breast burned to cut through them like a farmer reaping his wheat, I knew that we would not walk away from that if we did.
Farmers. Blogvir just grips his fist and he just thinks about farmers and how he hates them. And he turns really dark. He goes from being like sad to really angry and dark. He's like a dark, brooding, angsty teenager now. Damn farmers.
Well, not all farmers are bad. Gilfrick is a farmer now.
With their crop, he doesn't even like acknowledge. He's just talking to himself with their crops and their nice succulent vegetables and their fruit. Oh, damn farmers gloating. Oh yes, I can farm. Yes, of course you can. I'm gonna farm you in there. That's what I'm gonna do. He goes to talk to himself. He goes off. It's sort of like reminiscent of like Smeagol talking to himself about the ring. Like he's kind of going Bilbo for a minute. They're like popping out. The darkness coming out from him for a minute, and then he snaps back and he's like, "But yes, of course. Whatever you said, Shihan. Yes."
You drank their stuff, didn't you?
I did. Yes.
Okay. Bad things tend to happen when you drink someone else's things. Hopefully, it won't be too bad. But yeah, we once we get to a certain distance away, we're going to have to turn aside from our direction and find ourselves a good place to disguise a camp.
Your camp is still kind of smoldering, and I'm assuming that's where you left the sled.
Yeah, we'll have to go up there and get that at least. And actually, that's a fairly defensible place, isn't it?
It's up on the side of a hill, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to do a little bit of work to try to disguise it a little better. You know,
yeah, we didn't want them to know which direction we went to.
Yeah, we'll leave a different direction then, as if we're heading down the road, then circle back. Instead, like the 40-minute walk, we'll make it an hour and a half.
Oh, there you go.
So, and that's going to be on a wilderness lore, a 22 to disguise our camp from the casual eye.
That'll work.
So,
it's still quite early in the evening, around about 11. So you weren't gone for very long.
Yeah. We should probably sleep in shifts as well.
I'll take first watch.
Okay, I'll take second then. He'll bed down and try to go to sleep. And he does say as he's laying down, I threw a knife to her. Hopefully she'll know what to do with it.
I hope to the goddess she knows. I hope she's not just a defenseless little creature like I thought she was.
If
Innocent
not, maybe she'll find release in one way or another.
Blogvir he just grows really sad. His eyes kind of well up a little bit, just thinking about this poor little The little beautiful, poor little muddy creature that's having to kill herself because she can't get out.
It will be sad, but not as sad as her continuing in existence as she currently is in.
Well, we did all we could. It's in fate's hands now.
Yes, it is. So
Sleep well, my friend.
I'll try. Shihan will lay down, sleep fitfully with the torturous thoughts of this poor little sylph in the mud, in the rain, looking at a blade and trying to decide if she wants to open her own veins or the veins of her captors. Either way, most likely will lead to her death.
Blogvir will just lean up against a boulder or a tree, whichever's nearby, and then he'll examine the troll blade in more detail now and admire it and go over it and just inspect it.
There are some trollish markings that go along one side of the blade, like etched into the bronze, if you will.
He'll just take his gauntlet off his glove and he'll just run his fingers over the runes and just absentmindedly just roll his fingers over it and kind of just play with it a little bit. He's like, oh, a new toy. Just run his fingers over the runes and whatnot.
The only rune that actually glows is the one that I described before.
He just admires the craftsmanship of it and everything, and goes back on being alert on watch.
Even amongst, even for a troll blade, there's actually a quite good craftsmanship. The memory of those goblins from before is saying that there was some shadow, an Arborean maybe, that hunts down troll men and then takes their wives. Some kind of demon that abducts troll women, and then it just images of whoever this thing is has a harem of 11-foot tall, gorgeous troll women following him around, and you're like, oh, I want to be that guy.
Lucky bastard.
And according to the local lore, I mean, whoever this is, he's done it about 9 times now, so he's got at least 9 women following him.
Maybe we'll be graced with his presence upon our journey one day, if he exists, if this is true, and not just some babushka tale made it to scare people or entice people to go out adventuring, look for the troll treasure, if you will.
Has Blogvir ever seen a troll?
Yeah, we killed him.
A troll woman.
He has not. He's only heard rumors. I mean, so he's never seen a troll female before. So
now, allegedly, if I can whip up an image for you here,
he has to rely on his imagination.
Okay. Didn't plan for this to show up this quite early, so I don't have an image prep for you. Well, you know what? While I look for this, how about we do some brief soliloquies here?
Okay. So I'll start with it real quick. As I said,
go for it, Shihan.
Shihan, as he settles down for his sleep, sees the image in his mind of this poor sylph sitting there in the mud, wearing just scraps of cloth and barely anything else. The rain coming down and matting her hair to her face. He never actually saw her face. As a matter of fact, he thinks about that now, and he saw her poor wings hanging down limply on her back. And he, as he's dreaming, he sees himself superimposed into her position, and this thing funks into him, and he looks at this knife and the edge of that bronze blade, that sharp edge and that keen point, and he thinks to himself how the pain of that point digging into flesh would be, or that edge opening veins or slitting throats. How many could he kill? That he looks down at his arms being so thin. He thinks to himself that even with a keen bronze knife, could he truly get it between the plates of armor that these captors wear? Would he hold on to it and wait for the captain, the mistress, to come out and plunge it between her ample breasts, the blood inside erupting across her red skin? Would her blood even be red? Or what? Or could it be like as the Arborians are and be some amber color or even the color of flame? Would, if her breast were pierced, would flame shoot out as a is she some kind of a spirit and such? She was not a fae, so she would not die as a fae. But these images just keep flashing before his eyes and his mind's eye as he sleeps, and he just doesn't really toss and turn, but he can't seem to find a comfortable place to rest his head, and he fades in and out, thinking about this: the blade, the edge, the tip, that prick of pain, the cold.
Beautifully done. But no, that image there is an example of troll women in Arkonar. They are beautiful and tall, but they got a fucking tail.
Hey, man, that tail can be used for many different things.
So allegedly, this demon thing has 9 of these women following him around. So, maybe more. We have no idea. He's haunting troll villages, killing the men. So, what is Blogvir? What do we see in Blogvir's soliloquy this evening?
Blogvir, as he runs his bare fingers across the runes on this troll blade, he can't help but think that this blade was probably crafted by the finest of blacksmiths and enchanted by the wisest of troll shamans or mages for the sole purpose of hunting down this alleged this apparition, this troll killer, to hunt him down and slay him, free these troll women from their bonds of sex slavery, if they will. And his mind just kind of wanders to fantastical visage of this mighty troll warrior champion smiting this demon monster, and then he'll trail back to the ample breasted, big bosomed red woman who had turned him into mud in her hand. He melted like the wax of a candle, and he blushes in embarrassment in himself, and he feels shame that he couldn't control himself, and he felt shame for what he felt toward this woman. He felt like he betrayed Kaya in some way, and that sadness just amplified even more when he thought about the pitiful, beautiful silver creature caked in mud and fecal matter and urine and whatever else in the dejected state she was in that pen. And even though he's never heard or seen these creatures before, he couldn't help but feel this extreme sadness of seeing her like this. And he can't put his finger on it, but he's sad that he couldn't free her, but he is glad that at least Shihan gave her the option, the chance to be the leader of her own destiny, the orchestrator of her own fate. And that brings him some measure of comfort. And then his mind will drift to that of Kaya, and how it seems 4 or 5 lifetimes since he last saw her beautiful smile and her long flowing hair, and how every day that he doesn't see her seems like an eternity, and how even though he keeps fighting and pushing forward, he just can't help but feel helpless in the fact that he may never see her again, and this will be all for nothing. And that sadness from that will turn into anger as he remembers his friend Gilfek and the sacrifice he did, and the promise of that we will find his son, and that we have made no progress to that. The anger for these Atlanteans, for what they've done. And he will grip the troll blade tightly on the hilt and think to himself that it will soon taste blood. It will be bathed in the blood of his enemies, the Atlanteans, for what they've done to his friend Gilfec's son, and what they've done to Kea, and what they've done to the people of this great land, come from the seas as warlords and marauders, killing innocents and enslaving, taking that which is not theirs, the anger. And he soon finds himself bleeding from. He gripped the blade. He gripped the blade of the sword when he thought it was the hilt in his ungloved hand. He looks down at the crimson streaks just dripping down from it. He'll just grip it tightly and grit his teeth in anger. And a fire, the small ember that was smoldering inside of him will start to inflame again and grow into a bonfire of fury and vengeance and determination, as he will set out his gaze to gaze over the moonless night, to keep watch and vigil over his dear friend Jihan. They will not sneak up. They will not take him. They will not take another friend from him. And he will have his vengeance, and he will. This story will end in death, one way or the other. But if he can take them with him, then it's a victory in his mind. The great goddess will be appeased.
Beautifully done. Now, in your fury, you've ignored one painfully terrible thing that is now in your midst. You hear like the chittering of some like half whisper, half cackle from just off to your right, just beyond the smoldering embers of your campfire earlier that evening. And your gaze snaps over there, and you see that green-eyed washer demon from before just standing in just within the glow, and her eyes find you there, and she's did you see what I showed you?
Eyes are locked in sheer terror. They're so wide that they're going to just explode and pop out of his face. He's shaking. Cold sweat breaks over him. He just stammers, and he's like just looking at this hideous visage of death come to take him.
And Keith, just for your benefit, because your eyes are closed, thankfully, and you're in the land of Morpheus. She has -8 grades in her allure. She is hideous and horrible, and she's kind of garbed in this charcoal gray, matted with mud, and she's got like a couple cattails like smashed and stuck to her rags, and she just is like half hunched over, looking over at Blogvir. She goes, "You found a way, did you not?" She kind of points this bony, demonic, arthritic fucking finger at you, just circling it in the air. Did you see?
I saw a demon. Don't kill me. I saw.
But what is it that you saw?
I saw Kea. I saw her alive.
She cackles again.
Blogvir shivers at this cackle. His blood runs cold.
Oh God, it's terrifying. Oh, Shihan, you're very blessed by all the gods that you're fucking asleep right now. Now she's kind of rubbing her naughty, warty fingers together. You must kill more of these fishmen, so I can wash them and their body parts in the river.
I'll do it. I'll do it, great washer. I'll do it. You will have your washing. Many washing to be done. It'll be done.
And she kind of like just like inches towards you a little bit, all like, oh, the way she moves is fucking horrifying.
Blogvir is like sleep paralysis. He tells his body to inch away and move, but he is frozen solid. The only thing that can move is his eyes, but they're locked. They're locked on. He can't look away. The sweat, even the sweat just dripping into his eyes can't blind him. He can't have the mercy of not seeing this dejected, evil creature coming for him. His sphincter is so tight, it's going to just explode.
And what she does is she kind of like goes under like her robes with a hand, and she takes out a fucking hand, like an embodied fucking hand. And she just kind of like shakes the fingers at you. It's kind of fucking funny if she wasn't terrifying. And she just spatters a little blood everywhere. She goes, I will wash them. She makes a circle in the air. It's whatever the fuck she is. It's horrible. It's deranged. It's alien. And just, She kind of like inches closer to you again. She goes, are there more things, more corpses to be washed in the river? She kind of rubs her hands, and the hand, which you actually now see is a hand, actually has an Atlantean like signet ring on it. So some poor bastard got his hand taken off by this thing. And she's
There will be more washing. I will bring you much washing. Please, oh great washer, please. The river, the water will be turned red with the blood of those who needs washing. It will be done.
And so, let's have Shihan make an awareness test. He's gonna take a penalty there. I want to see if this commotion actually wakes him up.
Oh no, he's not waking up.
Oh shit! Lucky bastard.
Matter of fact, he may never wake up again.
Oh, did you roll ones? Just like
yes.
Oh fuck! Really?
Yeah.
That's it. Shihan died in his sleep. She's gonna wash things with his God. Oh, never mind. Anyway,
she's asking about washing, and then she stops and looks. Oh yeah, it's one to be washed. He's dead already. He's taking him. Start watching him.
Oh my God! Put those goddamn dice away, man.
They rolled double 8s earlier on awareness checks. So.
I don't give a shit. But no, she kind of inches towards you again. She's fucking upon you now. She's sitting next to you.
Does she smell? Does she smell?
Dude, she smells like a graveyard and a lake.
Oh man.
Have you ever been fishing?
Yeah.
Have you ever had like walleye fillets, like actual wild caught fucking walleye, and the fish tastes like lake? She smells like that plus a graveyard.
Oh God. If Blogvir wasn't paralyzed from fear, he would instantly tear his own eyes out at this point.
She drags this fucking disembodied hand over your forearm there. She just kind of like grabs it, puts her hand on your fucking forearm. She just starts washing your fucking armor with this Atlantean hand. She goes, there will be much washing. There will be dead flowing down the river Styx and blood everywhere.
Yes, great wash. Everywhere.
And that she kind of spies Shihan over there, just sleeping soundly. Just oh god damn. And she's like, I spy a corpse here. She inches towards that way.
No, great washer. No, he yet lives. He helps me send those to you who need to be washed. No. Please do not harm me. He yet lives.
At about that time, Shihan lets out a snore that almost rivals one of Blogvir's because he has fallen in such a deep sleep at this point.
This is almost slight gasp in this hag. She's like, oh. She turns over and she looks back with those green glowing fucking eyes. He yet lives. but she inches closer to Shihan anyway. She's a little bit more, and she's upon him. She just leans down over the fucking top of him, almost like she's a vampire gonna have a go at his neck, but she's real goddamn close. Does Blogvir do anything in this moment?
He tries with all his might to go up there. In his mind, he grabs this creature and throws her away from his friend, but in reality, he hasn't moved an inch, and his eyes are just fixated on this creature. What he only assumes is just going to eat and disembowel and just feast on and wash his bones with his own innards or something. He doesn't know, but he can't. He just watches in horror as this thing is going to be beset upon his friend. He's just unable to do anything from sheer fear.
She puts this Atlantean disembodied hand. She puts her hand. She has it in her left hand. Okay, she puts her right hand on Shihan's shoulder, and she starts like washing his face, the side of his face, with this bloodied fucking hand. And a few moments later, Shihan has the most horrifying nightmare of his very long life, and probably the most horrifying nightmare he will ever have in his ageless life, as this thing comes into his dreams and just like crawling on all fours and bits and like dead Atlanteans and immortals are just falling out of her fucking robe.
Okay, well, Shihan, of course, in his dream state, screams and runs, tries to find trees to climb, but of course those trees turn into giant salamanders that try to eat him. And and then of course he rounds a corner from that, and there's a 3-headed one there, cutting off his path that way. As this thing comes crouching behind him, and he hears the laugh and sees the mask of that one Reaper that was haunting him for such a long time, laughing at his at the moment, and he seems to attempt to run, but his feet are getting stuck in sucking mud, and he's slipping, and the hill keeps getting steeper in front of him, and rain comes down, and it's washing him backwards towards this thing. That he looks back, and as he rolls over back, he realizes this thing's all fours because it's going to try to copulate with him as he slides down underneath it. And this horrible hag above him lowers upon him. And okay, can I wake up now? Because that's
you bolt upright, screaming. You are keening into the night. If you are not being quiet, if your guys are trying to be stealthy, everyone for a 10-mile radius now knows where you are. The next instant, that washer demon is no longer there.
Okay. What the hell, Blogvir, was that?
There was.
She came again.
No, she didn't.
She was here.
No, I woke up for that.
No, she was here. She was here.
What was it?
To wash her, demon. She wants more souls to wash, more bodies. She came to me again. It was the same one by the river. I told you. I don't know how she found me again. She demands more bodies to be washed. We must throw the Atlanteans' bodies into the river. Must pile their corpses into the river. Let her take them and wash them.
We can. We can throw members of the cult in the river too. We just need to find ourselves a small army to do it with.
She tried to wash you too. And I just point to your face.
He shivers, reaches into his face, and wipes his face, and goes ooh, and flicks it off into the night.
In resting in Shihan's palm is that Atlantean signet ring.
He holds it up and looks at it.
It is set with a lapis lazuli stone.
Interesting. This is a clue. Any inscriptions on it? Of course, I can't read, but
No, no. Yes, there are inscriptions. No, you cannot read them, of course.
Hey, Blogvir, what's this?
That came from her washing and utensil that she used to wash you with.
It's got things on it. Can you read it?
Yes, hand it to me. I'll try.
Okay, hand it over.
I'll take it with a shaky hand, and I'll try to compose myself and examine it more closely and see if I can make out what it says or what engravings it has on it.
Not in the starlight. You won't be able to. You can certainly feel it on your fingertips, but you can't. Yeah, you can't read.
Can we get the fire going back up? Is it still smoldering? Is it completely out?
No, it's still smoldering.
I'll put some wood on it and stoke it back up again a bit. Get a little fire out of it.
Now, point of interest here. Blogvir, correct me if I'm wrong, Grant. Blogvir can speak Atlantean, but he can't read Atlantean hieroglyphs. Is that correct?
I believe you're right. He has 3 academics. He can speak it. I don't.
Okay, then you won't be able to read the hieroglyphs on the ring.
Yeah, I don't think he can actually read it. So,
as far as you're concerned, it's got emojis on it.
It could be a message to a loved one. I don't know. I can't read fish fucking hieroglyphics.
I think that one means poop.
You're probably right. Maybe this was an anger gift.
Could be. You never. Do they do anger gifts in Atlantis?
They're very hateful people. I imagine they might.
Yeah, they very well may. So
maybe he got caught with another fish, and his mate was very upset.
Well, now that I've rested, maybe it's time for you to try to get some rest as well, and I'll keep an eye out. I'm not going to sleep.
My eyes widened. I fear I will only see her face.
Pray you don't.
I guess I'll put the ring in a satchel or from a pack or something, which keep it, and I guess Blogvir will try to get some sleep, and hopefully he won't see that disgustingly hideous visions of death in his dreams, and hopefully he'll be okay.
As you're attempting to bed down for the evening, your head kind of touches your makeshift pillow, and this chilling, foul breeze comes through the pine needles, and you hear this. Both of you fucking hear this.
No, I bolt upright, grab my weapon, and just huddle in a defensive formation, trying to hide the fact that I'm shaking.
And draw my sword.
And with that, we will close with the end soliloquies. Blogvir, go for it.
As Blogvir is shaking in his armor, holding the troll blade in his trembling hand, he can't help but think of what this creature will do to him if he does not provide her with bodies to be washed. He can kill two birds with one stone, as it may. He will please the goddess Carnage, and he will deliver these bodies, these offerings, these macabre offerings to the river. He has to. He feels if he does not deliver these bodies to be washed to the river, that she will come and wash him for all eternity, and he can't live with that, just that thought in his head. He has to. His resolve is ironclad. He has to bring these Atlanteans. Their bodies must be thrown into the great maw of the river. She may wash them. She needs to be washed. She needs washing, and he has to give these offerings. The gods forbid he doesn't, and then him and his friend are being washed for all eternity by this creature. And what if he doesn't oblige her, and she goes for Kaya? She knows where she is. She gifted him the vision. She'll go for her next, and she'll wash her. That's even worse than him. He has to. His resolve is heightened. It is that of steel now. He must. It's bronze in his hand. He has to get these Atlanteans, kill them all and feed them to the Washer. The Washer must have them. If she is sated, then him and his loved ones are safe. And if he cannot appease her, then he must at least find Kea first, and hopefully be able to escape with her and maybe outrun this great washing demon. His thoughts just drift to Kea. She's already living a life of hell, working for this commander governor, and he just imagines her one night being visited by the Washer in her sleep, and he can't even he tries to shake the thoughts, the images in his brain of Kea being washed, and he can't, and it burns, it sears into his mind, this creature washing his loved one, and in a way no one should be washed. And his fear turns into that of determination that she will have her bodies. The washing must be done. It must be cleansed. She must cleanse these, because he will not let her take Kea. He will not let her take Shihan. She will not cleanse them. He will not wash them. And as he very, very, very fruitlessly tries to stave off the slumber, eventually he does drift into unconsciousness, and horrible nightmares of her washing Kea and Shihan over and over for eternity just plague his mind as he falls asleep, nested up against a rock, blade gripped tightly in his hands, even in his fevered dreams, his eyes darting back and forth in his eyelids. To the onlooker, they can only be extremely grateful they do not see what Blogvir sees in his dreams, his nightmares.
Beautifully done. Beautiful. All right, Shihan, take it away.
Shihan, as he hears this cackle, stands up and draws his sword, feels the leather grip in his hand biting into his palm, and he looks around in the darkness, and he thinks to himself, already tonight he tossed and turned in his dreams, at first feeling helpless. Then the dream changed, and this thing came into his dream, and no matter what he did, he couldn't do anything. He was helpless. He thought back to when he was sitting in the camp earlier, and he wanted so badly to free this sylph and set her back to her mountain home, but he was helpless. He couldn't do what he wanted to do. He was impotent. And these feelings come boiling through his mind. And he thinks to himself, he's not helpless. And he remembers the look in those mortals' eyes when he named himself Forest Devil, and how they looked at him with a bit of fear. And he remembered that is what he is. He is something the mortals fear. He is something that mortals tell their children at night stories of, to keep them from wandering from their homes in the forest. He's a great hunter, a hunter of the Fae, hunter of the Lords of Dawn. He is of the court of the Pike King. He is not helpless. And the more he thinks about this and this feeling coming over him, the more that helplessness turns hot, turns to anger, turns to rage, and he grips his sword tightly, and to the point where his knuckles begin to turn almost bone white as he looks around for an enemy to attack, but there's no enemy to be seen. And even as Blogvir seems to get past this fear, this noise, this cackle, and lays down to rest himself, Shihan finds himself pacing back and forth along the edge of their encampment, just looking for something to slay, looking for something to fight. He's ready to go now. This burning in his chest just wants to leap forward and burst forth and cover everything in blood. And that's how he spends his night, pacing back and forth, muttering under his breath all the things that he's encountered, all these things that have plagued him this night. And he just keeps saying slightly aloud, I am a forest demon. I am a forest devil. I am a Lord of the Dawn.
Excellently done. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. My name is Blackthorn. I am your narrator here at On the Edge of Shadow. Excellent session tonight, guys. Thank you for tuning in. You guys have a wonderful night. Sleep well
Good night.
and be safe, everybody.